Welcome. What if I told you that the afterlife isn't just a place you go, it's something you create? That heaven and hell aren't external worlds, but manifestations of your own soul's state. This is exactly what Mulla Sadra, one of the most influential Islamic philosophers, explores in his book Life After Death. Sadra challenges the traditional idea that the afterlife is merely a system of reward and punishment. Instead, he presents a philosophical and mystical vision, where our soul undergoes a transformation that determines our experience beyond death. But how does this work? What happens to the soul when we die? And how does this change our understanding of resurrection? Let's dive in. The soul is in constant transformation. The soul is not fixed. Unlike earlier philosophers, Mulla Sadra argues that the soul is not static, it constantly evolves. Introduces the concept of substantial motion, al-harakat al-jawariya. The soul undergoes continuous change and growth. The soul's journey after death. In the material world, the soul is closely tied to the body but is not limited to it. After death, the soul continues its journey, evolving into a new form of being. Death is not an end, it is a transition into the next stage of existence. Spiritual development determines the afterlife. The more one seeks wisdom, truth, and self-improvement, the higher the soul ascends. If the soul remains trapped in materialism and ignorance, it struggles to move forward. Your actions and thoughts shape the reality you will experience after death. Key takeaways: the soul is always evolving, it does not stay the same. Death is not an end, but a transition to a new existence. Your spiritual state in this life determines your experience in the next. If the soul is constantly evolving, what are you doing today to shape its future? Let us know in the comments. Heaven and hell are self-created. Mulla Sadra's revolutionary view. Hell is the soul's own torment, not an external punishment but a consequence of the soul's attachment to material desires. A soul obsessed with wealth, power, or pleasures remains heavy and stuck in lower existence. After death, the soul suffers from its own inability to move beyond material cravings. Hell equals a state of spiritual suffocation, not divine torture. Heaven is the natural state of the pure soul, not a reward, but the natural result of a purified, enlightened soul. Souls that seek wisdom, truth, and self-improvement become light and free. After death, such souls naturally ascend to higher realms of joy and knowledge. Heaven equals the fulfillment of the soul's journey toward perfection. Heaven and hell exist on a spectrum. Most souls fall somewhere in between, not fully pure, but not entirely corrupt. The afterlife reflects each soul's individual journey and level of development. The more spiritually evolved a soul is, the more blissful its experience will be. Key takeaways: hell equals suffering caused by material attachment. Heaven equals the natural state of a purified soul. The afterlife is not a courtroom, it's a reflection of who we become. If your afterlife is a continuation of your soul's journey, how does that change the way you live today? Comment below. Resurrection, a spiritual and physical reality. Resurrection is not a simple return to the same body. Traditional views see resurrection mod as a physical revival of the exact same body. Mulla Sadra challenges this, arguing that resurrection is both physical and spiritual but in a transformed way. The subtle body jism mythali. After death, the soul is not reunited with the same material body but with a refined spiritual body that matches its level of perfection. This subtle body is shaped by the soul's spiritual progress. Pure souls attain a higher, luminous form, while impure souls remain in a lower, denser state. Resurrection as transformation. Just as a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly, the soul transitions to a new form of existence in the afterlife. The more spiritually evolved a person is, the greater their experience of bliss and knowledge. The less developed the soul, the more it struggles to move beyond lower realms. Key takeaways: resurrection is not just a return, it's an evolution into a new state of being. The afterlife body is shaped by the soul's spiritual level. The soul's journey determines whether resurrection is blissful or painful. If your soul's future form depends on your growth today, how are you preparing for the next life? Let us know in the comments. Final thoughts. Why does this matter? Mulla Sadra's life after death gives us a radically different way of understanding what happens when we die. Instead of seeing heaven and hell as external rewards and punishments, he shows us that the soul is constantly evolving. The afterlife is a mirror of our own inner state. Resurrection is not just physical, it is a transformation into a higher level of existence. So what does this mean for us? It means that everything we do in this life shapes our soul's reality in the next. Our choices, our thoughts, and our spiritual progress determine the kind of existence we will have after death. So, here's a question for you. Does Mulla Sadra's vision of the afterlife change how you think about life and death? Let us know in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe for more deep philosophical book summaries.